It's extremely unfortunate. So your lab is your different characteristics of DC generator. So in this you have the open circuit characteristics of the DC generator. That is the magnetizing current, and then the you have to note the shunt excitation or shunt voltage buildup in shunt mode, and then finally different characteristics in different characteristics of the generator in different compound mode. So OCC, then shunt voltage buildup in shunt mode, then external characteristics mainly in shunt mode, and the compound generator mode, where there would be both shunt field and the series field both would be connected. So the circuit diagram is like this. Here the DC generator driven by a synchronous motor. The speciality of the synchronous motor is that if the power supply AC power would be supplied, three-phase AC power would be supplied to the synchronous motor, there would be a DC field also. However, as long as the frequency of the synchronous motor remains same, frequency of the three-phase supply to the synchronous motor remains same, the speed of rotation of the synchronous motor would remain same. About the field current, actually the field current does not change as such. Field current change something else, that is the input power factor. That is a very special case about the synchronous motor. Otherwise, the speed does not depend upon the field current, which is true, or which of course is opposite for the DC machine. The speed of the motor depends on the field current or the flux. For the synchronous motor, irrespective of the field current, as long as the frequency of the three-phase supply remains same, the speed of the synchronous motor would remain same. Speed is directly proportional to the frequency of the supply. Now the synchronous motor drives the DC generator, and here we have the capability, because we have the F1, F2 that is denotes the field. By field we actually denote the shunt field if there is any shunt field. S1 and S2 denotes the terminals of the series field. So S1 and S2, if we just connect them by a wire, that would either bypass, or connecting F2 directly to the terminal here where the load boxes would be connected. So if it's directly connecting F1 to the terminal box, that would also bypass the series field. So if F1 and F2 is connected across A1 and A2, that would be a shunt connection, that is shunt generator mode. And if S1 and S2, of course, that need to be connected in series with the combination of the A1, A2 and F1, F2. So that is in series with the shunt generator. So that would be a compound generator. Of course, that is a short shunt compound. So so that way a compound generator would be formed, and depending upon the direction of the series field connection, that can be either a cumulative compound or a differential compound. Now, if we just remove, or if we completely remove the series field, that would be a shunt generator connection with only the shunt field connected across the armature. Now, our first problem, or the first run, that would be about the voltage build-up in DC shunt generator mode. So there, the field connection, the A1 and A2, that voltage, for the shunt generator mode. So A1, A2 and F1, F2 would be connected, and with respect to F1, F2, in series with F1, F2, there would be an ammeter connected, and this resistance would not be there. Okay. So this direct connection would be there, nothing would be connected as such, so there would be no connection here, there would be no connection here. Only there would be a connection in terms of course, the voltmeter would be connected to measure the voltage buildup, or to measure the voltage due to the voltage buildup of the shunt generator, and to find what is the current through the field winding. Now, because the voltage across the field winding and the armature, that those are same for the shunt generator connection, shunt connection. So we know the field voltage across the field winding, and we know the current through the field winding. So we can we know what is the field resistance. Now for this condition, if we can plot the open circuit characteristics for this in open circuit condition or the or separately excited condition. In fact, because this is a generator, so we if we just supply the field from an external supply and measure the voltage across the armature. So that would be the OCC, open circuit characteristics, or the magnetizing characteristics. And with that, if we put the field resistance line, we can find what would be the critical field resistance. So our next run, first run is the voltage buildup in shunt generator mode. So there will be one voltmeter connected across the shunt generator, across the armature or the field of the shunt generator, and there one ammeter would be connected across the in series with the field. So that way we know what is the field resistance, and we know what is the voltage buildup in shunt generator mode. Next run would be about the open circuit characteristics. In open circuit characteristics, so we would have we would separate this out. We would connect a voltmeter here across the armature, and we would connect another voltage source here. If you just put here, because even in the lab also, this thing is this circuit is modified several times. So there would be a resistance or put actually a rheostat connected in series with the field, such that we can change the field resistance. So a voltage source would be applied, voltage would be applied across the field, and due to the variation of the rheostat, the resistance of the rheostat, the field resistance should be varied, and depending upon that, the field current or the flux should change. So due to that, we would have different voltage induced across the armature. Now, so this in this run, we have to plot the field current versus the armature voltage in both increasing and decreasing, for both increasing and decreasing nature. So if we increase the field current, of course, because it may have because we have already studied or we already performed the run of the shunt generator mode. Someone is trying to enter. Because we have already run in shunt generator mode, so that means there would be a non-zero residual flux. So due to that, if we run even at with zero field current, there would be some induced EMF. Now, if we go on increasing the field current, okay, so field current versus the induced EMF. So if we go on increasing the field current, the induced EMF would increase, and at certain point that would become constant. And once again, if we go on reducing the field current, so this should come here. Now, for this run, you have to take care that you should never retrace. That means, let's say we are increasing the field current and we are increasing in step of let's say for example 0.05. So let's say you are on the on 0.15. Now you need to increase that to 0.2. So now if you by mistake, if you increase the field current to let's say 0.25, or let's say for example if you consider that to be a mistake, so let's say 0.22 somehow. So in that case, you should not return to the field current of 0.2, because if you do so, you are actually tracing a different VH loop, local VH loop. Let's say this is the this is the point for 0.2. Now, if you instead of going to let's say 0.25, let's say 0.25 is here, and if you just pass here, instead of going to 0.25, you just pass to 0.27, let's say, and that means, and if you try to come back to here, that would not you would not be on the same VH loop, that means the loop you are traversing. So you would be on a new VH loop, and your result would be erroneous. So while performing this run, you should never retrace. If you got any other value, you should never come back to the let's say when you are increasing the field current, you should only increase the field current, never reduce. Once you start reducing the field current, never increase in any step. You just go on reducing the field current and take the reading. So now from these two, we need or we have a few actually characteristics to be plotted. So one is induced EMF versus the field current. So you can do that, and induced EMF versus speed for a constant field current. Actually, that was for another different experiment, which was actually I would say merged to form this new experiment. So this is not required. This is not possible in this case because we cannot actually change the speed. Now, you need to calculate critical field resistance at rated speed. Usually, the DC machine here is run at the rated speed, which is usually because for this experiment, the speed of the synchronous motor and the speed of the DC machine is actually matched. Otherwise, you cannot actually perform the experiment at rated speed. Okay, because you cannot have any different speed by running a synchronous motor from the grid supply or actually the domestic supply or lab supply. So for that, because only have one, you can only have only a fixed speed, and that is dictated by the lab's power supply. So that means that DC motor rated speed must be matched to the synchronous motor speed, and that is done so. So to calculate the critical field resistance, you have to take into account the increasing line or increasing side of the BH curve, the induced in open circuit characteristics. Over there, draw the straight line for the resistance. Okay, and try to draw the parallel line for the resistance. Probably somewhere, because okay, this is not a good. My open circuit characteristics was not that good. So it would cut somewhere, and somewhere you would find most overlapping or the biggest overlap. So that from that you calculate what would be the critical field resistance. Another problem or another thing you need to calculate is the critical speed at rated excitation. So that means that the rated field. So you know the critical field resistance here, and okay. So you know the induced EMF, and you know the rated at the rated speed or rated field current, rated excitation. You know the rated field current. So that is due to the rated voltage divided by the field resistance, which is available from the run of the shunt generator mode. Okay, so you know the rated excitation. From that you calculate what is the voltage. I would say what is the induced EMF. From that you calculate what would be the rated critical speed. Okay. Now let's move to the next run where we would go for the external characteristics. External characteristics is the characteristics of open circuit or sorry terminal voltage with respect to the variation of the load current. So this is the load current which is plotted, which changes the terminal voltage. So for the external characteristics, we keeping that speed constant, we would change the load current by changing the load box. Here of course the circuit would be further modified, or actually not modified. Circuit would brought back to the original condition. That here the load box will be connected across the DC generator, and here in the first run the run would be in shunt generator mode. So series field would be bypassed, and the connection would be taken here from the connection of A1 and F1. The shorted point of A1 and F1 would be connected across the voltmeter, and thereby the terminals of the load boxes. So now by changing the load box resistance or the load box switches or the loads actually inside, we can change the load current. and due to the change in the load current, there will be change in the terminal voltage. Okay. So for the shunt generator, of course with the terminal voltage there will be as you know, that would be drooping in nature. So if you consider that this is the sorry, okay, let me take another. So let's consider this is the no load line. Uh, this is simply the terminal voltage, that's the load current characteristics. So for the shunt generator, you know that would be the drooping, that the load characteristics would be drooping in nature like this. So there would be two drops, one in terms of the armature resistance, another would be in terms of the armature reaction. So due to the drop in the armature, due to both drops, the terminal voltage would drop. Now the problem with the shunt generator is that once the terminal voltage drops, because the field winding is connected in parallel to the armature or across the terminals, so once the terminal voltage drops, the field current or field voltage across the field also drops. Due to that, the field current also reduces. Once the field current reduces, the no load voltage, which was there earlier, we considered constant. So that also reduces. Once that reduces, actually the induced voltage, the terminal voltage further reduces. So this way, there would be you would find once you reach some point beyond which that shunt generator cannot be loaded further, and if you try to load, actually the terminal voltage would come to zero at certain point of the load. So you can actually gradually or slowly short a shunt generator. That would not create a problem. However, you should not short a shunt generator very fast, or uh, not without giving, I would say, the transient time required for the field to gain its without hampering the armature. Okay. For the next run, we would go for the compound generator mode, where the series field would be connected across in series with the series combination of armature and the shunt field. So so here is one I first, without knowing, because it's not possible if you have not yet performed the experiment, and there is usually in the lab there is no marking. Not usually in the lab, the machine we use does not have any marking, so it's not possible to predict whether if you connect F1 with S1, we actually have two possibilities. You can connect at this point. Okay, let me take another color. So at this point you can connect S1, or at this point you can connect S2. So other terminal would be connected accordingly. So it may happen if you consider when the field current is like this and field current is like this from F1 and F2 and S1 and S2. Let's say they are actually adding up to each other. So that would be a cumulative compound operation. However, without knowing, it may happen that actually when the field current is opposite for the series field, so that would actually add. So you cannot say without actually knowing either there must be some dot marking, or you must know from the earlier experiment that which one is correct or not. Actually both of them are correct. Which one would give you the cumulative compound effect? So we would just try in the lab and find which one is cumulative, and other would be differential compound. So if we, for the cumulative compound, if you go on increasing the field resistance, the load current, at certain point you would see that actually the terminal voltage would remain more or less constant. However, at certain point this should become greater by a very small margin, negligible margin, probably 1 and 2 volts from in 100 volts, so around 2 to 5% increase may be there. So after certain point, usually at rated load current, the terminal voltage would once again come back to its rated condition. So something, okay, this depends upon the percentage or actually proportion of compound for the cumulative compound meshing. However, this is usually shown because I just mentioned this because it is from the experiments, experience. As I remember from the last year's experiment. So the machine is, as so long as I remember, that is a level compound machine. Otherwise, you can have several such, I would say, curves depending upon the amount of I would say compounding. So if the compounding reduces, that would more or less more and more tend towards the shunt machine. For the shunt machine, the compounding can be considered to be zero because there is no series field connected. And if you consider that as the compounding increases, the voltage would further increase, the terminal voltage would increase as the load current increases. For the differential compound machine, compound generator, as the load current increases, the series field flux would increase because the load current directly passes through the series field. And further, as the load current increases, the series field flux increases. That flux opposes the shunt field flux. So the flux creating the induced EMF or responsible for induced EMF, that would reduce actually. So that means that induced EMF inside the machine, that would start reducing. So for the cumulative or differential compound machine, the terminal voltage would reduce and that would drop much faster, and actually that would drop something like this. Beyond certain point, you actually would not be able to load the differential compound generator. If you try to load, the terminal voltage further reduces. So more or less, your load current would remain same. So you will not be able to load further. So the problem or the task with this part of the lab was that you have to draw the external characteristics for the three runs for the shunt, cumulative, and differential compound generator. And further, you have to and there was a question why synchronous motor has been chosen as prime mover. Can anyone answer me that? Otherwise, we will discuss that and finish up here. Anyone would try?
So the speed would remain constant always. That's why.
তাতে কি সুবিধে অসুবিধে, স্পিড কনস্ট্যান্ট থাকলে কি লাভ হবে তোমার? By the way, this is a lab session, so you have to put your attendance. So I would request you just put your full roll number and full name in the message box. So that would remain a record here. That would remain as a record here. So after the session, that would be mailed to me. So if required, I can produce the record. Anyway, so you just put your full name and full roll number in the message box. So let's continue. Any other answer? The speed would remain constant. That's good. However, how that would help you?
Sir, all the characteristic diagrams are drawn assuming the speed as constant.
Assuming the speed is constant. Okay, let's keep it. Any other answer? Okay. All the diagrams, open circuit characteristics, external characteristics, these require that the speed must remain constant. When you uh, study these characteristics, open circuit characteristics, drawing of open circuit characteristics is done by changing the field current or field flux and noting down the induced EMF, or plotting a curve of induced EMF versus field current at given or at a given speed. So that means the speed for the whole run when you are changing the field flux or field current to note the induced EMF throughout this, I would say, study, the speed must remain constant. Similarly, for the external characteristics also, the requirement is that throughout your study, when you are changing the load current and denoting the terminal voltage, the speed must remain constant. This is not the assumption, this is the requirement for this, for studying the characteristics. So if you have any question from your end, I will try to answer.
স্যার, যদি ভোল্টেজ বিল্ডিং আপের সময় আপনি বললেন যে মার্কিং থাকে না টার্মিনাল গুলোর, যদি আমরা শান্ট ফিল্ডটাকে মানে উল্টো মার্কিং এ মানে যেরকম লাগানোর কথা যদি তার উল্টো ভাবে লাগিয়ে দিই, তাহলে কি রেসিডুয়াল ম্যাগনেটিজমে কোনো রকম হ্যাম্পার হবে?
হবে না, রেসিডুয়াল ম্যাগনেটিজমে হ্যাম্পার হবে না, ঠিক না, রেসিডুয়াল ম্যাগনেটিজমে হ্যাম্পার হবে না। তার কারণটা হচ্ছে তুমি যেটা হবে কিছুটা হবে, ঠিক একেবারে মানে হ্যাম্পার তোমার আমার এইভাবে বলা উচিত না, হ্যাম্পার হবে কিছুটা হবে কিন্তু জিরো হয়ে যাবে না। তার কারণ হচ্ছে এইভাবে ভেবে দেখো, তুমি উল্টো লাগিয়েছো, তাহলে কি হচ্ছে, কিছুটা ভোল্টেজ তৈরি হয়েছে, সে কিছুটা কারেন্ট পাস করিয়েছে, সেই কারেন্টটা অপোজ করছে, তাহলে কিছুটা কারেন্ট পাস করলো, সেই কারেন্টটা ফিল্ড কিছুটা ফ্লাক্স নষ্ট করে দিল। এবার দুটো জিনিস মাথায় রাখতে হবে, একটা হচ্ছে বিএইচ কার্ভ, আরেকটা হচ্ছে তার ইনডিউসড ইএমএফ। তাহলে এবার ইনডিউসড ইএমএফটা কিছুটা কমে গেল, ফ্লাক্সটাও কিছুটা নষ্ট হয়ে গেল। ইনডিউসড ইএমএফ কমে যাওয়ার জন্য ফিল্ড কারেন্টটা কমে গেল। এইভাবে দেখতে গেলে একটা সময় গিয়ে ফিল্ড কারেন্টটা জিরো হয়ে যাবে, তাই তো? কিন্তু ফিল্ড কারেন্টটা জিরো হয়ে যাওয়া মানে ফ্লাক্সটা জিরো হয়ে গেল না। বিএইচ কার্ভ থেকে যদি লক্ষ্য করো, যে সময় ফিল্ড কারেন্টটা জিরো, ফ্লাক্সটা কিন্তু সেই সময় জিরো নয়। তার মানে হ্যাঁ, অবশ্যই ফ্লাক্সটা আগে যে রেসিডুয়াল ফ্লাক্সটা ছিল, সেই রেসিডুয়াল ফ্লাক্সটা কিছুটা residual flux in magnitude that would be sufficient for generation in the next run or not. That's very difficult to answer. Otherwise, of course, here in the shunt generator mode, for the voltage build-up, you would have the same problems. You have studied what are the pre-requirement or what are the requirement for proper voltage build-up in the shunt generator mode. Actually, that happens. Fortunately or unfortunately, whatever you say, because the lab class, there is a remaining a time-bound session. So we need to somehow start the lab. So that's why usually those are taken care of by the faculty there or the technicians there. So if you want to study, you can do that. However, of course, that is not possible right now. However, you can do that anytime. So you find whether the voltage is building up, and if the voltage is not building up, so you are fortunate, you can do several things, try out several things. Otherwise, if you however, that would not help you in building up the voltage. You need to change that polarity. In that case, that would build up. Anyway, any other question? Okay, so if you don't have any question, then I will finish here. However, I still have an assignment for you, that you find out who has logged in using your email ID, common email ID. And tell him or her to contact me. I would just put an complaint against you to head of the department. So hope that